All right, I'm back in the building. Okay, so it don't see me yet. 1 second. Okay. Whew. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gotta get the lighting right. Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, we got a wonderful, wonderful show planned for you tonight. Shout out to the people on X showing me mad love, sending me information, giving me tips, letting me know about stuff that's happening that I guess if I don't live in Cleveland, I would have no idea. All right, so if you notice, I was pretty happy that oh, y'all don't know yet. I was singing a song before I went live. Karma, karma, karma. What am I talking about? Did y'all know that in somewhere in the month of December, the beginning, the middle, or the end, but probably before Stefanski got fired, probably right before they closed this Shedeur's case, a federal judge, a judge in Ohio, blocked the $600 million that Haslam thought he was going to get to build his stadium. Now, mind you, he's contributing $1.5 million. Now, it's a private stadium. Brook Park is donating $300 million in taxes from the citizens of Brook Park, right? $600 million, which is a big chunk of change. It's more than Brook Park, and it's about a little bit more than half of what he would contribute for his stadium on his land. Unclaimed funds. And I've heard people talk about it in our comment section before. They said that Haslam donated $1 million to a politician, and in return, he receives the permission to use $600 million in unclaimed funds. Unclaimed funds comes from different monies that belongs to the public. You might have a checking account and never go back for it, or somebody pass away and nobody claim it, or maybe the state, if you pay state taxes, maybe the state owe you taxes, but they couldn't send it to you because you moved and the money went back to them. Unclaimed funds. So basically, that's money that belongs to the public that people don't know that they have. And he thought he was going to use it to build his damn stadium. I'm like, oh, first of all, everybody don't even like football, American football. Everybody don't get with the NFL like that. Some people watch other sports. Some people don't watch no sports. And imagine if you a person and you into the ballet and you have unclaimed funds and you don't know about it, and he take it and use it for his football stadium. And then you find out, you remember you got this money and you try to go get it. And they're like, I'm sorry, but Jimmy Haslam took it for his stadium. So twice now, including today, I think, on the 7th, and today is the 8th, yesterday. First in December, a judge in Ohio blocked it and said, that's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. No, we can't let you use these people's money. Apparently, some lawmakers got together and sued. A judge got the case and they blocked him. They put out a restraining order so he can't get that money. So he can't access the $600 million. And then just yesterday, another judge, the same judge or a different judge, extended the block so he can't use that money. So he wants to take it to a federal judge and appeal it and try to make a federal judge force Ohio courts to release other people's money to him to build a damn stadium. Did the fans vote on that? How cheeky do you have to be? You are a billionaire. If you want that damn stadium so bad, then you pony up the money and pay for it. And let's just be honest. With the abhorrent, discriminatory way Stefanski was allowed to treat Shedeur and discriminate against him, hell no. Use your own money. Just like fans weren't showing up to the game, but he want to take unclaimed money from the citizens of Ohio to use to build his stadium where he would have a coach that could discriminate against Shedeur. No. So we're going to see what happens when it gets to federal court. And it could be the same when he appealed to a federal court so he could move out of Cleveland. and take the name with him. He had to settle with the city of Cleveland for $100 million. But unfortunately, it's over 15 years, but it should have been all at once. Because that's how much the gates bring in Cleveland. The city gonna miss people coming to Cleveland for the sporting event. The city gonna miss that. So he want to take it to Brook Park, get $300 million from Brook Park, get $600 million from the citizens who probably might not even be interested, and get $900 million from other outside external sources to put with his 1.5. I tell you what, if you're a billionaire, you got the total amount. Pony it up yourself. Just like any other business owner out here, got to use their money to start their business unless they get a loan or a grant. They don't steal from other people. This isn't that far different from what Brett Favre did. Brett Favre stole money from the welfare rolls of all states, Mississippi, and wanted to know if people knew that the money he was stealing would truly, where it would come from, so he could run out and gloat and say he was donating money to build a volleyball stadium where his daughter went to college. You see how these rich people are using money that belongs to ordinary citizens who they probably wouldn't give a dime to on the street for their personal projects? Hell no. And the fact that this just happened yesterday, and this case got closed yesterday, and we were like, why you don't tell us who it is? And they told us today. And I'd have made a live stream and a video, and I'm about to talk about it again. I'll save it to the end. So, y'all feel like, I'm inundating you with you, but you ain't gonna miss this. So I watched the press conference with the officer in the suit and the sheriff. We're gonna talk about that. First, I want to talk about Bucky. So Bucky, I think he said he getting ready to go to Nashville. And I was like, why is Bucky going to Nashville? I don't know. He said he got to get on this road to Nashville. Now, I can't tell when this was taken, but he was in Dallas for sure. So let me know I don't think the Titans are in any kind of playoff of football, but he said he was getting ready to get on the road to Nashville. So I don't know. I didn't know what he meant, but I was listening to what he said. Take a listen. Let's see.
I'm short until the 21st. Social media payday not until the 21st. I got a lot coming in on 21st, but until then, let me know what you need to know, man. I got you.
He said, whatever you need to know, I got you. And I sent him a DM. I said, okay. Hold on one second. I said, okay, I need to know. Let me tell y'all what I told him. And again, I don't know if he's going to necessarily read it, not saying he's going to reply, but he said, whatever you want to know, I got you. And I know he probably was talking about something else, but I love how they talk in code sometimes. He said, whatever you want to know, I got you. And I sent a message that asked him, I said, okay, I would like to know why you weren't in Cleveland when the robbery happened, the only game that you missed. And I said, it's just, kind of like a gaping hole that I said, did they not invite you, or did you voluntarily just not go like that? So he said, let me know, which I want to know. And so that's what I asked. If he ever responds, I will let y'all know, because that is something that I felt like I wanted to know. But honestly, I don't really know if I need it. I don't really know if I need it. You know what I was thinking earlier today? I was thinking about after I went live, I did a video, and I was talking about this case. And I was listening because y'all were in the comments telling me about the stolen car and that it really wasn't stolen. It's just that somebody rented it for them and they drove to Ohio and they didn't return the car. And once the police realized that the tags, which was a Tennessee tag, they called up Enterprise when they ran the tag. It's a rental car. So it wasn't stolen off of a street. Because I was like, how they know they stole a rental car? That don't make no sense. Somebody rented the car for them. Rented the car for them. And of course, they didn't bring it back. So that's when the police, they already had the tag information and they let Enterprise know in real time where the car was. Now, this is my question, right? This is the question I have. First and foremost, you said you have identified all 4 suspects, 4, right? And you can't find one of them, okay? But you closed the case. So I Googled, do police departments close an investigation when they have a suspect at large? It said no. No, you don't do that. Why would you do that? If it's a cold case 10 years ago, they might, and it's never closed, it's inactive. They didn't say the case was inactive. They said it's closed. I'm like, why the hell would you issue a warrant and then close the case? What, you don't want nobody to go look for the man? You say you think he in Decatur. So are you going to send Decatur to look and they going to open the case? Because that's not a closed case unless you transferring it to Georgia. But the officer in the suit said they're being extradited to Ohio. So why is it closed? And why is it that person? And let me tell you something else I noticed. When they were talking and they were showing you the suspect stayed at the hotel. Now, mind you, these are pictures. We don't know that they really from where they say they from, but it looked like it could be a really inexpensive hotel. And the chairs, I thought I saw red in the background. So, okay. But here's the thing, right? They showed the external photos with them outside in the parking lot, all 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they came in and it was daytime. And they went to their hotel and they changed clothes, put on their bonnets like they was going to go to sleep because they've been driving for 11 hours. Even riding in the car that long makes you fatigued. And they showed the 4 pictures of them in the parking lot, but only 3 of them in the hotel. So guess who was missing from the photo on the interior of the hotel? The same one that they can't find. So I was like, where he went? Where did he go? Why is there no footage of him at the hotel? Did he drop them off and go to somebody else's house? Think about it. Not one photo of the person they can't find. You see him outside the hotel, but not one photo inside, but the other 3 are there. Now we know that the Javen guy, we drove, and I even saw him get out the car on the driver's side. Where the other dude at? It's funny that you can't find him. You think he might be in DeKalb County, which is in here in Georgia. You know you're going to extradite all of them back. And there's no photo of him in the hotel. I could see if it wasn't a photo in the lobby of him, maybe it was in the hotel room. There's no photo of him in the lobby at like the rest of them. There should be photos when they come in, but they got photos with the one little, the younger dude that's 18. He got a bonnet on, so he changed his clothes. What the other dude at? Funny they can't find him, and he's a ghost in the hotel. Understand, hotels like that got cameras everywhere. Front, back, side, inside, everywhere. Because it's a lot of trafficking that happens at places like that. And everybody else is accounted for, just like everybody else is in custody. And he wasn't at the hotel, and now they can't find him. But they admitted he was one of the suspects that walked into the house, that was seen walking through the house. And you know how they know? Because the other guy was in the car. So if it's 4 of them and 1 is in the car, the other 3 seen in the house is the guy that's missing, period, and not seen in the hotel. And I said, I wonder if one of them used to play football. And maybe they know somebody in Ohio that played football. I'm going to tell you what fans think. On Reddit, where it's not a lot of black people, I don't think, they think Stefanski did it. That's right. On, I think, X, they think Jerry Judy did it. You are not going to convince people that this was not an inside job. And I'm going to tell you something else the officer in the suit said. He said there's a rash of robberies happening with athletes, right? Like Pat Mahomes, right? But did you hear them say that Myles Garrett got robbed too? Now, there's no public information of that. But they said yes. Now, I want you to understand, if you Google Cleveland Brown players that got robbed, only Shedeur gonna come up. So when y'all told me about Myles Garrett and I went and heard it for myself, I said, oh. Only Myles Garrett and Shedeur got speeding tickets. Only Myles Garrett and Shedeur got robbed. No mention of Myles Garrett, but I heard the police say it. It's not documented nowhere. But I heard the police say it. And I told y'all I thought it was weird that coming through Strongsville should be a lot of the Brown players, but only Myles Garrett and Shedeur got stopped. And it stopped, or we didn't know about his 8 speeding ticket until he said, Shedeur, we're going to need you. Nobody else is reported to him. How is it possible that only Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders are the people we know got tickets? Now, how is it possible that only Myles Garrett and Shedeur? Okay, I'm back. All right, so my camera disappeared, but I'm back. All right, so let me see if I can see myself. Hold on one second. So how is it that only 2 got stopped after Myles Garrett showed Shedeur, we gonna need you, right? That we know that happened, right? So now I'm hearing only Myles Garrett and Shedeur got robbed, nobody else. But guess what I did hear? I also heard that Tennessee Titans player got robbed right before Christmas. And what did the police officer say? A reporter said, were these guys involved? He said no. He said, were these guys believed to be involved in any other robberies? He said no. He said, do you think there's anybody else outside of them? He said no. So understand this. He also said, this is the guy in the suit. He also said that there was somebody else that told them where to go. So how can you say it's just the 4 of them, and in the same press conference say somebody tells these guys what celebrity to hit up? I'm going to tell you what this is giving. The prank call, sliding in on a trend. You know why? He was asked about multiple people's robberies. That's how I knew about Jeffrey Simmons. You know what one of the reporters said? He said they drove all the way from Atlanta. I was like, I know that's right. They drove 22 hours round trip for 12 minutes. And then there's a photo of them leaving the house with tote bags. That's it. They wasn't struggling to carry coats and jackets and PS5s and computers. No. One of them had 2 small tote bags. One had a bigger bag. Nobody was struggling and dragging and filling it up to the brim. One dude had 2 small bags that looked like they belonged to his mom that were empty looking. I suspect that's where the glasses and the hats were. Nobody understands why on earth people that rob celebrities would drive 22 hours from Atlanta, where the Falcons live, and bypass through Tennessee, where the Titans are, and bypass through Kansas City, where the Chiefs are, to get in somebody's house for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. And think about how scary the little one was. It makes sense because he only 18. He ain't never done that before. They were asked about their prior records. He said they all got priors, but he admitted it wasn't for what they were accused of. I told you the only one that had done anything like that with stolen property is the one that's not on film at the hotel, the same one they can't find. And they closed the case and they know somebody rented the car for them. He also said out loud, they checked in and spent the night. So either they paid for 2 days at the hotel or they checked out at noon. And where were they until 6:46? Those are valid questions. If you stayed at the Red Roof Inn, you ain't got a whole lot of money. And if you rob a famous athlete, you gonna tell me that you took that same car with no tinted windows and the 4 y'all bobbing around in the city, and 4 heads trigger a traffic stop, and you gonna go back to the hotel and park the same car that you committed a robbery in and spend a night and get up and leave the next day? Where were you from 12 checkout time, which is probably 11 at the Red Roof Inn? Where were you from 11 to 6:46? Okay, where were you from 11 to 6:40? Where were you? There should be pictures of them all over the city. Because I had to do something until it was time to go commit this robbery. And all of them, they say, have gun charges and they didn't take no weapons. Now they know, they say somebody sent them. They know they didn't rob Jeffrey Simmons. Somebody else did that. And they probably up the road from here. You trying to tell me that they drove all the way from the Atlanta area, which means they rented the car from Enterprise in it, or somebody rented the car from Enterprise in Atlanta. And you went all the way up there nonstop? Checked in your hotel, spent the night, got up, wash face, brush your teeth, put on some clothes, just some random clothes, except for one of them had on the jacket. And you was in there for 12 minutes, and then you didn't get much. Y'all not out here dragging and pulling stereo equipment. You didn't break into the car to see what's in there. It's probably $1 million worth of car in that damn garage. Because I know I saw Cullinan, don't know who belonged to, but I know I saw one. I know there's a Maybach. There's all kind of cars. And you didn't disturb none of that. You went to a door that somebody gave you a photo of. You verified it was that. You called. Then you flashed a signal jammer for your phone signals to jam up so people don't identify you. But it had nothing to do with none of that. It was the license plate caught, or the car caught on the neighbor's camera. They didn't even need geofencing. And had they used it, they would have known who they called. But they just closed the case. They just issued a warrant, closed the case, waiting for extradition from Georgia to Ohio. Why would you close the case? And they know. And the guy in the suit said it. He said it. He said, yeah, somebody else rented the car and then they got it. So what you mean is somebody rented the car for them. Why wouldn't he say that like that? Why wouldn't he say it's possible that somebody rented the car for them? It's almost like they do not want to address the somebody else. They don't want to know who rented the car with their credit card from Enterprise. They don't want to know. They don't want to know where dude at because they closed the case. We just gonna issue a warrant, and who gonna pick him up? If you issued a warrant in Ohio, how is that gonna help you? Did you issue a warrant down here in Georgia? Because that's how it works. They just said a warrant was issued for his arrest. He's a fugitive. Case closed. No, that you don't want nothing. And the fact that he missing from the hotel video, he missing in action right now. He's the only one of the three. The other three got played. He was locked up 12 years. If we don't never see him, he might not even go to jail. Because how we gonna know? They closed the case. Ain't nobody looking for nothing. So you're not looking for nobody else. No. So how you not looking for nobody else if you know they have a boss? So what you telling me is you asked the first three, are y'all working for somebody? They ain't want to tell you, or you didn't ask them. You have to decide. And then when you think about the number of law enforcement, it had to be about 8 agencies working together. When Jeffrey Simmons got robbed, was the CIA and the Secret Service involved? When Pat Mahomes got robbed, did the 8 agencies work for that? I mean, I ain't mad at the police. I'm just saying that's a whole lot of activity, and all you needed to get them was flock cameras and a neighbor's security footage, because he said it. The dude in the suit said it. He said, oh, once we got the security footage from the neighbor, that was all that we needed. So they just wanted to get the people who was in the car. They don't care about who rented the car. They don't care about who sent them. They don't want to even allude to the fact that somebody sent them and they want to know who it is. They closed the case, so they don't want to know who it is. And sometimes I would like to think that the reason it was so many law enforcement involved at the highest levels is so we don't find out who the hell it is that had them. Why do I need that many law enforcement if all I had was flock cameras that did the trick like that? The first guy was arrested 10 days after robbery. The second one about 2 to 3 weeks after him. Then the other one. And they wait until Cleveland is finished business for the season. Stefanski gets fired and they didn't want to fire him. Then they dressing him up and make him seeming like he's appealing. Has him talking about he optimistic Stefanski gonna find another job, because you're gonna find him one. You close the case, so I don't know who gonna. I guess they're gonna wait till old boy get a traffic stop somewhere and go, oh, there he is right here. This is the fourth one. I still won't know where the footage at on the goddamn camera, because it is highly possible he dropped them off and went to visit somebody or get paid for the job. Hey, I gotta make this run. I mean, he should have walked in the hotel at some point, right? Coming and going, he ain't nowhere on there. He just in the parking lot. So how do we know that he didn't drop them off, took the car and went to visit whoever knew where Shedeur lived at, and then came back and picked them up? Because again, he was not on any of the camera footage. And they didn't show them coming and going. They showed them hanging out in the lobby, the three of them, the one with the bonnet. So I knew what time it was. They tired. And they ain't concerned about him. They closed the case. Y'all don't think that's weird? Hell yeah, that's weird. That ain't normal. I don't know why they don't want to know where he at. I don't know why they closed the case so nobody has to spend time on getting him. I don't know how you could say you think you know where he at and then close the case. I don't know why there's no footage of him in the damn hotel coming or going. Only on the outside, but not on the inside. I think it's convenient that they closed the case when they knew about all of this. The last guy was picked up December 29th. Why didn't they wait till now to tell us who they are when they knew then? And it made it seem like we did our job, we're done. Somebody asked me on X, do you think the reason that they hurried to close the case, even though old boy's still out there, is because of what's going on with the stadium funding? I'm like, it could be. It could be karma. That's what I call it. But it's a lot of people don't like what's happening with Shedeur. So a lot of people know Shedeur been discriminated against. What did I say? It's crazy that Haslam could still have a good reputation in the Ohio community after the way Stefanski was allowed to discriminate and abuse Shedeur. And here we are paying the price, or he is. He gonna have to come out of his pocket. If they didn't let him, a federal judge didn't let him take Cleveland, the stadium, at the team, and he had to make a deal with the city. I mean, you going back to the same federal judge? We'll see what happens. Because if he get that money and now people know what's going on, he gonna get stopped somewhere else. And that's still a problem with the airport. So problems just cropping up everywhere. Now, mind you, he got time built in, right? I mean, we just not getting to 2026. I don't know how long it take to build a stadium, but you don't build it overnight. So they got to work out the funding, and he gonna just have to get some sponsors or pay for it himself. But we're gonna see what a judge does. But it's been blocked twice because that's not his money. That's not free money. That belongs to the people. And the people ain't happy with him. The people stopped going to the games. So why should he get their money? So I responded, I think it was Mongoose. And I said, you know, it very well could be. They want to clean this thing up with Shedeur because it's ugly. It's ugly. And you know what I noticed? When the robbery happened, how many of these minions in Cleveland talked about it? 0. I went back today to check. 0. Y'all don't think that's strange? I said it then when it happened. You don't think it's strange? As much as they like to talk about Shedeur for likes and clicks, they're not talking about his house getting robbed. And here we are. They got the people from Atlanta. You think they want to, dig with that? They ain't even want to talk about it. They ain't even want to talk about it, just like they don't even want to find no boy. They just going to release the warrant. He a fugitive and the hell with him. We know where he at. Case closed. I was like, well, maybe, just maybe, this is some kind of ploy so he'll ease up. But the warrant don't go away, so no. This is not normal. You can Google it. But it did happen the day the judge was ruling on whether to extend the block. And the block was extended. So maybe it does have something to do with the ugly publicity about the way the quarterback is being treated. And even if that's not it on the surface, in the spiritual realm, that's exactly what it is. Until you do right by 12, blocked. You rejected 12, you're being rejected. You didn't just reject him and ship him off. You abused him. The reporters that were asking questions were like me. So they drove all the way here? I'm like, right, they passed up the Titans, they passed up the Falcons, they passed up the Kansas City Chiefs. Hell, they might have passed up the Chicago Bears. I don't know. I got to think about it. I got to think about it. They might have passed up the damn Chicago Bears depending on which direction they went. I'm like, okay. If somebody told me Jeffrey Simmons got robbed from somebody in Nashville or somebody in Georgia, I would get it. But nobody understands why they would have driven so far. You know what people are saying? Oh, this is the inside job. Somebody in Cleveland gave them the information. I said, bingo. And since old buddy not on the footage at the hotel, hey, I'm going to go see my people. I'm going to catch y'all later. I wonder who his people is. Is it a woman? Is it a man? It's funny how he MIA. I'm just saying he MIA from the hotel. You can't find him right now. And he's the only one that has committed that type of crime. The rest of them, it was substance rolling in, trying to sell it. The other one, they say he got charges, but I ain't really seen that. They said something about a gun. I'm like, okay. But it's funny how they didn't take one though. Because you think they would have took that. Matter of fact, that's what should have been in one of them damn bags. I mean, if we gonna just be honest, if I'm in the business of boosting and fencing, right? And I'm carrying and you strap and you strap and you strap and we break into a house, what, I'm gonna get in trouble if I take the strap? Really? Only take what I tell you to take? Is that how it works? Somebody. And I have no problem saying it. And I don't care if they go and find somebody and pay them off to take it. Somebody within the Browns organization set Shedeur up to be robbed. That's why Bucky wasn't there. Somebody said, is somebody in Cleveland that knew Shedeur's schedule? I'm like, people that work for the Browns. Because don't forget, Bucky wasn't at it that one time. That one time. Just that one time. And when Haslam had them little kids, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember. I think it was 4. I think it was 4 of them. It was a dude to the right, the shorter guy, the little skinny one on the end, and the big dude. It was 4 of them with the 12 jersey on. And how coincidental is it 4 of them? And you know what somebody said? So wait, let me get this right. You saying 4 dudes rolled up from Georgia, Atlanta, all the way Ohio, with Tennessee plates, no tint on the window, just roaming around the damn city because they had to check out that damn hotel. Maybe they went to my people's house and drove all the way back without being stopped once. I'm like, yeah, because that's a good point. That's a good point right there. Because they don't tint on those windows. I saw the car, and it does have Tennessee plates, and we in Ohio, and it's surprising that they didn't get stopped. Hey, fellas, how you doing? Step out the car. One of them was arrested for the distribution of it. And the crazy part is that's how they got him for the robbery. I'm like, so really, when you got him for the distribution, either you already knew about the distribution or you found out about it and you said, hey, let's use this to get him for that, because that's what happened. That's what happened. The driver. Not a surprise they got the driver first. But how would they know who the driver was if they didn't know who name the car was in? Of course they knew whose the car was rented by, but why don't they seem to be interested in them? Think about it. Them tags wasn't in that dude driving that car name. So, okay, I got flock cameras. I can see. Here's the car. It stopped here, and went all the way. It stopped and drove. Okay, I get that, right? I get that totally. But how do you know who's actually in the car? Or is it because you took the photos from the hotel in the parking lot and you scanned them in and did facial recognition? Because, yeah, technology. Otherwise, how do you know who the hell that is? Did they check in under their real names? And all of them didn't need to give their name to check in. We talking about the red roof in here. It looked like a Motel 6. It was just red. And from the outside, and they stayed in the one in Medina County. Who paid for that? They didn't even stay at a red roof inn in another town. So understand this. I came all the way from Atlanta and stayed at a hotel in the area that I'm finna rob. Really? And left the car outside overnight and everything? That's just crazy. I'm on camera, except for the guy that has already been arrested for receiving stolen property. And did nobody take no weapon? And there was one there. And I think it's still there. Somebody in the Browns organization set that up. Now, did they know old buddy that's MIA? Possibly. I mean, you got to think about it. It's a lot of people that play for the Browns. I don't know where Jerry Judy went to college, Devin Bush went to college. I don't know where all them dudes went to school at. And who knew where they went to high school at? Maybe they went to high school together. The only high school that popped up was for the driver. Nobody else's high school popped up, which likely might possibly mean like half the people in Atlanta, they not Atlanta. They could be right there from Alabama, but I live here. Then again, maybe I'm hanging out here. When you look them up, only one pops up for high school in Georgia. The rest do not. Maybe one of them played football. Because the one that they can't find is also not on camera at the hotel. Period. Day one or day two. Let me see what y'all saying. And when you look at that photo with what they leaving that house with, you just shake your head. One dude just had 2 bags. That's it. Two little tote bags. Something like my mama would take to church. For real. Wasn't nothing sticking out of it. Wasn't nothing stuffing out of it. Wasn't no sweaters and arms and stuff hanging over it. I'm like, so you just got 2 bags. And remember, they looked in one room. They didn't even bother to go in there and get nothing. I thought you was robbing people. You supposed to be taking everything. A teammate could have did it. Facts. To be ugly, because look at how ugly he was treated by his teammates on offense. That narrows it down. Right? A teammate could have did it. That's why I take the bags. I just slide in on the trend because I know other athletes have gotten robbed. Just like the prank. Or maybe it is no coincidence that Haslam was standing there with them 4 kids with the 12 jerseys on at the Miami Dolphins game when Bucky made the video. See, Haslam did that before Bucky made the video. And they didn't rob Shedeur directly after Bucky made the video. And then Bucky didn't get invited back when it happened. That don't point to a teammate. Because I don't know how a teammate know that Bucky not coming up unless they went up to Shedeur and asked, Bucky coming this weekend? Nah, he didn't get it this weekend. Or he got something to do. Maybe. Then they start studying the video to see who's Florida and who's Bucky? No. If I ask Shedeur, is Bucky coming? And he tell me no, I don't need to look at the video at all. I look at the video so I could see who's who because I don't know who's who. So it's not a teammate. It's somebody that knows that Bucky was not going to be there. It's not just that somebody that knew Shedeur's schedule. Oh, no. That's too broad. It's somebody that knew Bucky would not be there. And who the hell is that? Somebody that work in the office. That maybe write the checks or that does the assignments of who's coming in. And okay, let's say it's somebody that works there. And the social media videographer department know that Bucky not coming. Okay. Let's say it's that. I know what Shedeur live at. HR know where Shedeur live at. HR know what games to pay Bucky for. There's a scheduler. There's HR. The scheduler doesn't necessarily know Shedeur's address, but HR does. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Haslam showed up with the 4 kids with the 12 jersey on, appearing to be, as the media said it, supporting Shedeur. The same lies Skip Bayless keep telling. They doing that for a reason. So you don't look his way. And then look how he acted when Coach Prime was around. And look at how many bodyguards Coach Prime has. Coach Prime ain't never had that many bodyguards before. 1 or 2. 4? And then, hey, I'm Jimmy. How you doing? Why you want to meet the bodyguards? You're a billionaire. You don't care about them. You ain't new to bodyguards. And then the Secret Service? Really? Here's a secret. Or maybe it's a little known fact. I myself did Secret Service detail in grad school. I ain't gonna say for what politician, but I ain't never been asked to look into nothing like that. Ever. Let me see what y'all saying. It said God is trying to tell him something. Facts, baby. That's it, baby. Trying to point right at the culprit. Trying to point right at the culprit. And that's what I was thinking earlier today when I said, okay, I'm going to have to just move past this, even though I know something's missing. There's a piece to this puzzle that's missing, right? And I didn't watch the press conference yet. I hadn't watched the press conference. I had just shut down the live and I said a prayer. And I said, oh no, not the live, but my second video that I posted. And I said, okay, I know it's more to it, but I feel like I need to move on because I'm smart enough, informed enough to know that when you have that many law enforcement people involved and they close the case when it's still open, something ain't right. Because like they said, oh, this is happening to a lot of athletes. Okay, well, then I would expect the Secret Service to be over there too. They don't do that. They don't do that. So I was like, you know what? I feel like they are all involved to protect. Just like the NFL protected the New York Giants. They lied and said it was the Falcons. Well, here we are saying it's some people from Georgia. Are we lying? Are we? I don't know where the hell them damn pictures were taken at. You just put them out there. It could be a Red Roof Inn in Tennessee. For all I know, the car got Tennessee plates. They could have originated from Tennessee and don't have shit to do with Atlanta. How are we going to prove it? You can't. Just like when the NFL said it's the Falcons, how could we prove it? There are people that still believe that because there are other people that saw the Ole Miss sweatshirt guy and knew it wasn't that man's son because they saw what his son looked like. They knew his son went to college in New Jersey. They knew they were all somewhere together, the executives. That's where the inside information. If one go to Ole Miss and one go to Berry College and they in the same place for the draft, whose house were they at? Think about it. Berry College is in what, New Jersey? The Giants play in New Jersey, but they probably live in New York. They were all up there at one of them executives' houses, and 9 times out of 10, the kid from Berry College could have been with the people from Joe Schoen's family, the Giants. Because the kid that made the call was with the family of the Giants, the GM of the Giants. That's his girlfriend, or was, whatever. Now you see? And you see, they left that confusion out there. They never cleared that up. Just like when people said that was Haslam grandkids, people was like, Haslam got Mexican grandkids? Facts. They never came back to clean that up, but the media pushed that out there, just like Skip continuously puts out there that Haslam is for Shedeur. False. And then I want you to think about how Haslam was with Coach Prime. And look at how they were treating Shedeur before. And look how they were treating Shedeur afterwards. Let's say Shedeur has a good game. And look at what they were doing before they flipped the switch. I saw a trade scenario today. Shedeur to the Vegas Raiders. Who was the first team to be nice to Coach Prime? I want you to understand something about pressure. Pressure could or will be the reason Shedeur gets traded to another team. The NFL is blocking, right? Just like the NFL is blocking Shedeur until Coach Prime showed up, right? So the NFL is blocking Shedeur from moving on. Collusion, right? Let's just say allegedly from the draft to Cleveland. And they want Haslam to keep Shedeur right there in Cleveland. And they already starting on round 2 of snubbing him. He ain't proved nothing. He got to compete again. And here we are, the stadium's blocked. Not once, but twice. And here it is today. I see a trade scenario. Because Shedeur is supposed to be draft capital anyway. to be traded to Vegas, the first team that was nice to Coach Prime after Shedeur got robbed. Yep. Think about it. We were like, why is he not on the Cleveland side? That's just crazy. Then he over there on the Vegas side. And people said the man sitting below Coach Prime and him was like, I should have drafted him. I'm like, that's funny because I was the owner. So after Shedeur got robbed, Vegas started being nice. Now I hear a trade scenario with Shedeur to Vegas. After Vegas was nice, Cleveland was nice. And after when Coach Prime wasn't there, we said it was a difference. That's why he was there. Even if you pay attention, Coach Prime said it was too late to get a private jet. They went at the last minute. They went at the last minute. But they still went. And if you pay attention, he told you how he did his job on the plane. So he didn't duck off and not do no work. He made sure to let people know what he did, what he accomplished. The person he talked to on the plane is a buff. In other words, I can work anywhere. So he heard, like everybody else did, what those two guys said about he shouldn't go down there. And I'm glad he went. To hell with them. See, you ain't right. There's this conversation about a missing $27 million. I'm like, excuse me? What's going on with that? Like the football program was supposed to have $27 million, but it's gone. Or they missing $27 million so they don't have no NIL for the players. I'm going to look into that. And we're going to talk about it. But that's the elephant in the room. The missing $27 million. So it's somebody withholding NIL money so Coach Prime don't get it. But the moment he gone, Brendan Marion is going to get it. And then 4 years later, he going to be gone. It said, good, the stadium was blocked. I totally agree. I totally agree, Queen. It said the Browns running around treating folks poorly. Right. It's called karma. You can't sit up here and just treat people any kind of way. You can't do it, bro. But he thought he could. And I think the pressure going to get so thick. I mean, they already closed this case and it ain't closed. And that makes it seem like we doing right. Why? What you got to do with it? But it did happen on the same day a judge. Well, they told us about it on the same day the judge. They told us the morning before the judge made a ruling. The judge like, it's still blocked. Now they telling us all the details to date. And now they want to file a federal appeal. Pay attention. It looked like these two things are walking lockstep together. Maybe somebody figured out something and was like, well, let's just all go down here together. I mean, you can't forget how Shedeur got drafted. And I was like, now how does that happen? But nobody can stand up for him. I mean, maybe they all came to make sure Medina County was doing what they supposed to do. I don't know. But I know they don't do that. Is there a president involved? You see? A politician? It said until you do right by Shedeur, everything you touch gonna fail, right? And that's what's gonna make them trade him because they're gonna have to. See, I already see the pressure getting ready. I said, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. That's why I was singing a song, Karma. I almost made the song on my phone. Karma. Because that's what it is. Not a coincidence. This has happened twice. Right before Christmas, gave you a time to get it together. You didn't want to fire Stefanski. The other guy got arrested on the 29th. They played their last game. Then Stefanski got fired. They closed the case the day the judge was supposed to make a ruling on extending the block, and the judge did extend the block. Now they pushed to federal. See what happened. If federal say no, Shedeur might end up in Vegas. And that's what needs to happen. Because the NFL don't want to do right by Shedeur. The Browns don't want to do right by Shedeur. So they're going to be forced to move off of him. They don't want him to go to Canada because we going too. They ain't stupid. They're not stupid. But they are devious. And that's what people need to wrap their heads around. willing to steal from the citizens when you got the money? That's greedy. Allowing Stefanski to abuse Shedeur. The NFL does nothing. The guy Debo on Debo and Joe, he said the NFL Players Association has been failing the players for a very long time. There's nobody to stand up for Shedeur and players like him. And I'm sure that's intentional. It said, remember, what don't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse. Facts. Because I told myself, I said, okay, I need to move past this, even though I know what I know, I got to move past this. That's what I told myself. Because it's not like it's the ordinary case. If it were, we would hear about everybody's robbery. I don't know about Pat Mahomes. I looked it up. I only know about Jeffrey Simmons because I heard somebody else say something about player got robbed, one of the reporters, and they said, no, it wasn't those guys. It's funny how they definitively know that they weren't involved in this one's robbery. They weren't involved in nobody else's robbery, but they want you to think that they were. But then he said, no, it's just the four of them. But then he said, they tell these guys where to go. Which one is it? You actually contradicted yourself in the interview, and I'm shocked that none of the media caught it. And none of the media said, well, why is the case closed if y'all still got to get this guy? Either they didn't ask intentionally, just like the Browns don't ask Kevin Stefanski what needs to be asked. They were selected to ask questions, but you can't ask this, you can't ask that. So on the surface, good job. But wait a minute. Why you close the case? Where the other dude at? Why he missing in action? You close the case. He missing it. He on the lam or whatever you call it. And he not in the photos at the hotel. I just want to know where he was all night and why he never came inside. Why they ain't put no photos of that up? So I told myself, I got to push past this. And something was like, So I kid you not. It was like, nope. So I watched the other press conference because I was responding to comments, and it was Mama Tia. Mama Tia was telling me about the rental car and how it wasn't stolen like off the street, but they didn't bring it back or somebody else rented it. So I was like, let me go watch this. So I went and watched. I looked for a couple of videos because it's a short 2-minute video with the officer in uniform. And then I was like, Then I looked again and saw the guy, a 13-minute video with the officer turning it over to the guy in the suit. And that's where the meat and potatoes come from. And that's where all the questions come from. And the reporters did ask good questions, but they didn't ask the obvious questions, though. So I was like, okay, here we go. It said 20 million followers and counted. Facts. They're going to have to trade it. Hey there, everybody. How you doing? Hey, Pamela. How you doing? Welcome back. It said the illest show on the planet. Thank you. People were like, good investigation. Good. I'm like, thank you. It said, good evening. How you doing? It said, he serves the Hazel right. I agree. It said, this is God's judgment. Yep. All the dirt behind the scenes. I totally agree. The Browns organization was trying to use $600 billion of the state's unclaimed. Well, what happened when a person claimed their money? Right. That's what the judge was like. He was like, what? When these people want their money, they're not gonna have it because you took it. No, he said that's robbing. She said that's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's not right. And that's not right. That's not a good financial philosophy at all. Use your own money. That was no different than Brett Favre stealing from the welfare rolls. You stealing from the public with money they don't know that they have. And when they realize they have it, they're not going to be able to get it because you took it to build a damn football stadium in a town where your fan base already stopped going to the games. So you greedy and you're selfish. You need to fix that damn team. And maybe they'll come back and you ain't got to steal nobody else's money. That's stealing. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is stealing. It's stealing. You taking something that belongs somewhere else and putting it over here. No, use your own money. You're a billionaire. And I said his reputation cannot be good in the business community. And here we are. When people find out about this, because the person that sent it to me, Mongoose, I think, he or she was like, I don't think a lot of people know about this. I think this is kind of hush hush. I said, well, I just read it. Thank you. And I said, I do believe that people would be upset about this. That's why it's hush hush. You don't hear none of them minions talking about it in Cleveland, just like they're not talking about Shedeur being robbed. They ain't even talk about the case being closed. They act like we don't know about that. That's suspicious in itself. They talk about Shedeur when he tied his shoe. But you don't want to talk about that. Fans were like, thank God Shedeur wasn't at home. Sound like the one guy that they can't find must have been trying to rob somebody and had a knife or something. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we grateful he wasn't there. But then at the same time, I think that was the point. But the point is, somebody could have been at the house. Miss Pilar could have had a headache and wanted to stay behind. And then what would have happened? I'd be pissed. I'm just saying, I'd be pissed off. So, you know, I kind of think it's time for Shedeur to go. So if we see the pressure, if you start to see the pressure and all of the trade talk, the pressure is forcing the trade talk, like the one I saw today by Shedeur going to Vegas, and it went off like a light bulb. Ha! The first team to be nice crime after the robbery. That ain't no coincidence. It sure ain't. It said we got some difficult days ahead. God can't help us now. Facts. 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 It said 47 people hit the like buttons. Yes, please hit the like buttons. Thank you. It said you heard it first. Shedeur is coming back next season, like the Return of the Jedi. We gonna see. See, you're saying that based on everything being okay, but you now have to take into consideration what you know. You cannot ignore that case was closed and they just issued a warrant for somebody that they call a fugitive. Who gonna go find him? It is true what the girl said in the comments. So you mean to tell me some people left Atlanta, went up to Ohio for approximately 24 hours, came all the way back with Tennessee plates and got arrested in Atlanta? They ain't get arrested up there? It's a valid question. You said you talked to the neighbor and got the security camera. How long did that take? They should have still been on the road. It took 10 days to arrest the driver. What, a flock camera footage? Really? You can tell what exit you get on and off the freeway. Going slow. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is like it's going slow. It's going slow. It said, got the game on mute and listen to what she says sports. Oh, what's the final score for Ole Miss in Miami? Does anybody know? Ole Miss in Miami. Let me look it up. Ole Miss versus Miami. I hope Ole Miss won, but oh, god darn. Miami won 31-27, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a good game. It was a good game. Trinidad put up 23 of 37, 277 yards, 1 touchdown. Keywan Lacey, 11 carries, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. Carson Beck put up the same numbers as Trinidad, 23 of 37, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Don't be surprised if he come to Cleveland, because I don't know why they don't talk about him. They don't talk about him. So he got to go somewhere, and you ain't going to be able to snub him like that. So we're going to see what happened in the next game. So that means Miami is going to the Natty, right? Isn't that what that means? And then the winner out of Oregon versus Indiana, Oregon versus Miami in the Natty. Anybody can see it? Let me know. Return of the Mac. Hallelujah. I know that's right. It said, damn, to bring the citizens, that was crazy. It said, as Queen proceed, give us to what we need. Facts. It said, old habits die hard. It said, Cleveland has a habit of losing. New Cleveland will change that which should do at the helm. Right. And I was reading comments on different pages with a different news station putting out the story with the sheriffs and stuff like that. And a lot of people were like, we don't play about our quarterbacks in Cleveland. We would never rob our quarterbacks. We knew they weren't from here, all like that. And they were like, no, we like Shedeur. All sorts of kind of people. Everybody in the comments was like, I'm glad you got them bums and stuff like that. So, yep. It said, they colluding to rob the citizens, right? It said, best news I heard all day. That's what I said. A private-owned business, that's fraud, right? How you going to build something? That's like building an office building, and you want to take money from people who don't know that their money is sitting over there. That's greedy. That's selfish. And that is fraud. That definitely is fraud. That's why the judge like, nah. And it's crazy that you don't want to back off and use your own money. Now you want to go to federal court. I'm like, damn, this dude is heartless. And with that being the case, if I'm willing to steal from the citizens, what else am I willing to do? A lot of things. I mean, look at what let happen to Shedeur. It's surprising that nobody on any of the big outlets say, well, damn, I wonder if somebody in the Browns organization gave out Shedeur a number. You know, they shouldn't have did that. Remember the draft? They never talk about it. That's how you know it's a thing. How can you not talk about it? It's common sense. In one comment section, somebody said, yeah, this sounds like just like that draft. And somebody said, you know, I forgot about that prank call. Yeah, people have forgotten. And that's what they want. That's what they want. But that ain't going to happen. Change is here now, right? It said, let me go see if I have it. Right. I need to go back and look too, because I'm like, I used to see the commercials all the time. But I'm like, that's the money they taking and you know why they do those commercials? Because they try to let people know. And they have a responsibility to let people know. And this snake was going to take the money. You're going to take $600,000, $600 million from people who don't know that they have money in an economy like this? Bruh, that people like that, I told y'all, he going to be forced to sell that team some one way or the other, because dude is a snake. And now that you see what he capable of, right? If that's how you conduct business, life is just as shrewd. And it's not past you to pay somebody to do some things. It's not. You paid that man for the $600 million, and it ain't yours, nor is it his. You see, when people show you what they're capable of, that's ruthless. Look at how he was with Coach Prime. I said that. I'm like, damn. And just out here abusing Shedeur left and right. And stepping on Shedeur's hand while Coach Prime is there. And then Shedeur can play football while Coach Prime is there. But when he gone, they go back to beating him up in the dark. Just crazy. And don't care what we think as fans. And don't care what black fans think about Shedeur, who's black. Don't care what humans think about Shedeur, but they mad about Michael Vick and the dog. Don't even care about humans because they're black. You care more about a dog than you care about a black human being. That's what you're saying. Mad at Colin Kaepernick because he care about people that look like him. You care about people that look like you? Could be straight up criminals and we'll cut for them. Good evening, fam. Hit the like button on the way in. Mike McDaniel is possibly headed to Cleveland. Yeah, we talked about that earlier today. Yeah, that's to ruin his career and Shedeur's and whoever else they're going to get. Because here's the thing about Mike McDaniel. He's in a vulnerable position, right? He was supposed to be extended till 2028, and he got fired. And I feel like he got fired because they want his spot. Mike McDaniel was half black, half supposed to be white, but I don't think it's white. I believe they want his job, and I feel like they're going to give it to Stefanski. Something in me says that. And it could be because Quinn Yu was over there. And they did him dirty. They didn't discriminate against him. They just colluded against him. You can collude and discriminate and abuse people, or you could just collude and that's it. That's what they did. They didn't humiliate him. They just colluded against him. So he wouldn't go first. But they knew Tua was going to eventually get moved out the way. So Tua's going to get moved out the way. The black GM got moved out the way. Dylan better wake up because him and Tua are both Polynesian, right? See what I'm saying? And Mike McDaniel got moved out the way. It seemed like to me, they moving the black quarterbacks out the way. They moving the black coaches out the way. The black and brown coaches out the way. The black and brown quarterbacks out the way. The black GMs out the way. Yeah, that's what they doing. And they got a who gonna check me boo attitude. All right, well, we gonna see. Now, see that fight right there? That one ain't mine. That one ain't mine. Because when I tell you, I was like, okay, I got to move off of this because I know it's wrong, but I understand some things here. I just keep it pushing. And God was like, no, I'm going to need you to look at this right here. And then it just all came together. I was like, I can't believe in a press conference they talking about closing the case and they telling you in the same breath to see what you're going to do. Yeah, we closed the case, but it's still somebody out there. And we know where they are in DeKalb County. So go get them. We're going to extradite everybody. So go get them. Why would you close the case if you're going to extradite him? Why would you close the case if you know somebody rented the car for them? Even went through the trouble of explaining that. The car's not really stolen. It's just somebody rented it and then they got it. No, you meant somebody rented it for them and they didn't bring it back. That's what you mean. But you could have said that. So they were trying not to say things. Ohio has a Supreme Court. Hell, he going to federal for. Because it could have been this, I don't know. It's two judges. One judge blocked it in December, and then maybe a different or the same Ohio judge, it said Commonwealth judge or something like that, blocked it yesterday. Yesterday, the 8th. What's today, the 9th? It could have been, it was yesterday or today. The same time that coincided with this damn this investigation that prematurely closed. Same time. I feel like it was yesterday the 7th. And today, I think they announced they're going to federal. I mean, that's what they did last time. Well, Ohio wouldn't let us take the city, the team and all that. So they went to federal. And federal must have said no, because then they end up settling with the city. Karma comes back. Yep. Another reason to vote. Absolutely. Greed has yeah, that's greed. That's crazy. Hey, Mama Tia, thanks for waving. I thought that was a done deal. Nope. And see, that's what people thought. See, people will tell you anything to get your money. Oh, you know what they did? They started selling stuff, PSLs or something for the new stadium, or they said what the price is going to be. And I don't know, maybe they have some kind of pre-sale or whatever. But the tickets were supposed to go up. Like somebody said they had paid $5,000 and now it's $10,000 for a PSL or something like that. In other words, and the New York Jets did the same thing. They trashed and said they was raising their ticket prices. I'm like, who you want to pay for this? They don't even like y'all like that. They don't care. They just don't care. They're robbing the coffers of the people. And it's not like they treating the players right. And it's not like they respect the fans. You out your damn mind. And for this to come out and happen now, and now people getting wind of it, and you notice the little minions won't talk about it. They won't talk about it. That's why you can't trust them. That's why you can't. I'm pretty sure that's how they got there. The entitlement is overwhelming. Yes, it's crazy. Greed kills mankind. Facts. It said buy Brett Favre. That's what I say. This ain't no different than Brett Favre. Cowboys owner is, yep. Oh, they said they get ready to interview somebody as they did for some coordinator, not Brian Flores, but somebody else. I was like, if you notice, everybody they interviewing is white. Everybody that's getting fired and moved out the way is either coach for a black quarterback, so they can put a white coach in the way, a new coach, just to say he want to get his own and move a black quarterback out the way. It's so obvious what's happening. And then they have the audacity to want to steal money from the people. All right, that stadium ain't gonna never get built the way it's going. It said, guess what? 20 million followers it counted is not having any of it. Any of it. It said, I've gotten unclaimed money, which I didn't know for years. I still had until someone from the state contacted me. He's wrong. Right. And that's what the judge said. When they find out about it, they're not going to have it because you took it. That's stealing. That's no different than Brett Favre taking money from the welfare rolls. So, okay, Brett Favre taking from welfare, and he did a whole documentary about that. And you stealing from people that ain't on welfare, but it's their money. You stealing the citizens of Ohio money. You out your damn mind. You better trade Shedeur. That's all I'm going to say. And it better be at a QB1. And it's probably going to be Vegas. They better make some kind of deal. It said if these cops feel they close that case, they should be fired. Yep, they said it. They said, yeah, we closed the case. Chambliss is a baller. Yes. And they trying to devalue my man. I'm like, you best believe. Like they say, it's Chambliss we trust. You best believe, bro. I'm like, I ain't playing about that kid. That kid came up from what, D2? And I don't even know how he got over there. I don't even know. They push him down. He a dog. He was supposed to be a backup. I guess he like, yeah, we gonna see. Oh, we gonna see. He's good. I don't know why they lost, but they didn't lose by much. And he didn't even have any interceptions. I think Carson Beck actually had an interception. But you know, a lot of their players jumped into the portal trying to go to other schools and follow Lane Kiffin. See, when they took Lane Kiffin away, I told y'all that was intentional. Why you gotta go now? What you doing? Oh, you recruiting? You got recruiters? You could have saw this through for these kids. You knew when you left, the kids was gonna hop into the portal. So I'm not surprised they lost by 3 points. I mean, 4, whatever. I'm just saying. That when I saw people from Ole Miss jumping into the portal, and then I saw what the NCAA is playing with Trinidad Chambliss waiver extension to go back to school, the portal closes on the 16th. When you gonna make up your mind? They want him to go to Cleveland. I'm like, it's funny how y'all want all Dante Moore to go to Cleveland. You want Trinidad Chambliss to go to. You want all the black quarterbacks to go to Cleveland. So you know what Cleveland is. That's what that means. They want him. First, it was Lenore Sellers. Then it's Dante Moore. Now it's Trinidad Chambliss. I hope Dante Moore go back to school. I hope Trinidad Chambliss go back to school. And NCAA better quit playing. I hope he sue him. He got a good lawyer. Hopefully his lawyer working for him, though. Because you know how that goes sometimes. God bless you, Bucky. It said, I think it's about his music. About whose music? It said he's snitching for a price, but he might be half serious. Who you talking about? Bucky. Oh, Bucky. His music. Okay. But he did say he was snitching for a price. I don't know who he snitching on, though. Bucky was there at the last game. Right. Yeah, no, he was there. I saw him in the, we didn't see him at first, but I saw him in the tunnel. And then days later, I saw Coach Prime. I was like, what was it, Tuesday? We saw, yesterday I saw on the pregame show that Coach Prime was there. I said, and then he explained how, see, they know what they be doing. See, they smart, right? Here Bucky talking about, I'll tell you anything you want to know for a price. I was like, really, Bucky? After this case stuff come out, and remember, the video I shared, only one person had that video. I Smoke Hip Hop. How do you think he got it? That was camera footage. They gave that to him. They did. They gave that to him. I just shared it, but they gave that to him. Notice nobody else has that. I'm looking today. I'm like, I thought I had that footage. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Only one person had that footage. That meant they wanted him to put it out there. Now, remember, he did a video saying the Cleveland Browns robbed Shedeur. He sure did. People was mad at him, talking about he don't know. He didn't correct himself. Then he put one out saying it was the teammates, the pointees. Just like the evidence I'm looking at points right back at Cleveland. That's what he said from the jump. He said the Browns, then he said a teammate. And Bucky out here, the day that they tell us about these little dudes, and they said, y'all told me that Bucky said they was black, which meant they knew who they caught. He said, I'll tell you anything you want to know. He's talking about he needs some money. I'm like, Bucky, I know you ain't out here living social media check to social media check. So they just be playing. They just like Cam used a Drake song to let Tennessee know. I heard what you said. The GM, I knew who that was for. Shedeur put out one like that. Shedeur put out one the day before Cam put out one. But it wasn't on Shedeur Sanders. It was on Too Legendary. And it was something like it was the same thing. Like they tried to do this, but I'm still me or something like that. If you go to the Too Legendary page, it's over there. I said I was going to start reading their lyrics. I don't know if I should do it in open air, but maybe I don't have to say who. Maybe I'm just going to read the lyrics and let y'all figure out who I'm talking about. But that's how they get to express themselves, right? Without typing it directly and put captions and people saying, you said this, you said that. It's just a song. But it's not. Just like Bucky saying, I'll tell you anything you want to know for a price. He ain't hurt for no damn money. He ain't hurting for no money. He don't pay nothing. He got his own house over there at the resort. His car's probably paid for. What he got, his girlfriend? Like, come on now. He ain't got nothing to pay for. He traveled, that's a business expense. So when he said that, it caught my attention. So that's when I hit him up because I feel like he's saying he knows something. And I know they gave I Smoke Hip Hop that footage because ain't no way he got that. That's camera footage. He didn't, and nobody else has it. So, and when he put out that it was the team or it was teammates, some people say Devin Bush, some people think Jerry Jeudy. And they said Quinshon went over to Shedeur's house and he was surprised. I was surprised that he would be surprised. Right? So it's something there. It's something there. It's something there. I don't know. We're gonna see. Maybe somebody get weirdly traded or something like that. Somebody gonna move. I don't know who it is. But when you think about how the offense was treating him for the most part, you know, Bucky was snitching on whomever was smoking hookah. I still heard that. He told me they left hookah. I was like, who was smoking that? He said the police know who rented the robber's car. Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, but the way he said it, he said, well, it's not stolen per se. It's Enterprise said the car was rented by someone else and then they got it. I'm like, they got it. What that mean? Did they pick it up all? They didn't return the car. The only way it was reported stolen for them. So who paid the hotel? I asked y'all how many people y'all thought stayed at the hotel. I figured they had one room in the four of them, but I have a feeling somebody else's house. Or out on the town. Or they were somewhere from checkout time till it's time to go rob the house. And there should be video of them all over Cleveland. At least hanging out somewhere, the lobby or the Burger King or something. They clearly didn't have a lot of money. So whoever you were doing this for was the recipient of the bags because you didn't really take nothing else. You could have took all kinds of stuff. And they talking about this is an organized ring. I'm like, no, I think somebody know a bunch of thieves and had the equipment, and it was like, we're gonna go get these bags. Or do you want me to come get these bags? Because they didn't come right after the video came out. They didn't come right after that. But Haslam already had them 4 people behind him. And he was acting like, I'm cool with them supporting Shedeur. Y'all know he wasn't supporting Shedeur. And even after that, he was like, no, Stefanski did good work for us. I was like, no, he didn't. It's not a coincidence. It's not. And then it was the Miami game. I don't know. Now they want to get Mike McDaniel. I have no idea what's going on with that. It said they found him and released his name. Who you talking about? The 4th guy? They found him. It said Think Enterprise have a low jack system on their vehicles. Yeah, they do. Because when you I haven't rented from Enterprise in a long time, but remember how they had all them options and stuff like that? I think that is a reality. So they can find their cars. But the flock system does it for them because it's real time. It said it was an inside job. Absolutely. So was it a teammate or was it an executive? I'm going to say it like that. Atlanta has to close it on their end and expedite their case in inmates to Ohio. It's a federal robbery charge due to it also being interstate commerce due to crossing another state line. They didn't say that. They said it's just a felony too. But they didn't say nothing about interstate. But you should be right. You should be right. But I didn't hear them say that though. I didn't hear them say that. But I'm not saying it's not, but I didn't hear him say that though. I just heard him say it's a felony 2. And I thought I looked up the sentence for a felony 2 robbery. Isn't that what it's called? Felony 2 robbery? Second-degree robbery. Yep, that's it right there. Involves taking property from someone using force, which means they kick the door in, I'm assuming, or intimidation, but without a deadly weapon or causing serious injury. So they ain't have no weapons, often including strong arm robberies, purse snatching, and unarmed bank store robberies, carry a significant prison time from 2 to 5 years in some states and fines, being a serious felony offense with potential enhancement for repeat offenses. Now, remember, the one they can't find, unless y'all say they found him, the one they can't find, already been to jail for 12 years. Yep. 145 months. That's 12 years. So that's a repeat offender. They saying all of them have priors. That's what they saying. So they are repeat offenders. It said does have cameras in the house. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's the first footage we actually saw was them in the hallway. That's what was released first. Then I Smoke Hip Hop shared the video on his platform, and nobody else had it. And I said it then. They gave that to him. They wanted it to get out. Why would you give it to him? How else he gonna get it? That's from the camera. unless he bought it, but I don't know who he gonna buy it from. I mean, he could have bought it from him, I guess. It said, I thought there was a woman in the crew. Everybody thought that. They thought the little guy that's 18 that looked timid, that tells you he ain't never do this before. They thought he was a girl. He just young. They said he had priors, but I looked them up. I didn't see no public record. So I don't know. I ain't gonna say they're wrong, but I don't know. It said Myrick, the alleged driver, was 26. Yep. They arrested him at 3 different times. Don't trust the fans. Yep. Same thing. Same thing. Whoever be nice to our nephew, the Browns retaliate on. Facts. And I didn't know Miles Garrett got robbed. I'm like, well, wait. When this happened? Because Miles and Shedeur were the only two that we knew of with the traffic stops coming through the same city of Strongsville. So were you waiting on Miles and Shedeur? It was retaliation. Right? They know when they leave practice. Ain't nobody crazy. Everybody know what time they're coming and going. And then they the only two to get robbed. They even one of the reporters say, so did they rob Miles? He said no. He said no, it wasn't them. They knew definitively the other robberies these guys had nothing to do with. And I said, this is a copycat. Just like the prank. It's the same MO. Something happening. Let's slide in and people will think it's nothing. And then look at all the law enforcement involved. They didn't take nothing like that. They didn't get no cash. When they went to Pat Mahomes' house, they got cash. They got jewelry. They got a Louis Vuitton suitcase. They got memorabilia. They ain't take none of that. The only thing that's even close is the bag from Louis Vuitton. All of his bags were not Louis Vuitton. That's the only tie-in to the other robberies. And they didn't take no tote bags from Pat Mahomes' house. They just saw Louis Vuitton suitcase and took it. These people who all have weapons charges, one is armed and dangerous, they didn't take the AK? Really? That's crazy. That's how you know it wasn't random. And for them to say, do you think there's anybody else involved? No. Then how can you say that these guys get told where to go if ain't nobody else involved? Who told them? That don't make no sense. And then you close the case. You shouldn't do that. Not if you knew somebody else got the car. Why who gonna look into them? And then what about these guys get told where to go? See, they lumping them in with other crimes, but it's not. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. So essentially, that's the part that makes me suspicious. You're lumping them in with other crimes, but you're saying you're not looking for anybody else. And since you're not looking for anybody else, you close the case, but you know somebody else rented the car. Just because the car was picked up in Atlanta does not mean the person that paid for it is in Georgia. They could be in Ohio. Hell, you know, somebody did drive them from Atlanta to Tennessee to pick up the car with Tennessee plates. Yes, I know Enterprise ends up with plates from other cars. But what I'm saying is, either you track them all the way, so you track them from Ohio to the front door, wherever they dropped the first person off at, or went back to their cars. But you can't close the case if you say these guys get told where to go. Why are you not looking for the people that told them where to go? Instead, you like, I can't prove it. This happens a lot. These guys get told where to go, but I can't prove that somebody else told them where to go. So you should never say that. They know what they're doing. It's just misleading. It's misleading. So, okay, we done with the case on our end. Okay. So we're to assume that the people that told him where to go must be in Georgia. Because what state looking for them? If Medina is done, what state is looking for the people that told them where to go? What state is looking for the people that rented the car? He said Mansfield, Texas. What's that about? It said that's about 4.5 hours outside of Dallas. What's that? Say sure did. Let me know what y'all talking about with Mansfield, Texas. It said sure did look like a female on the video that didn't have mannerisms like people they showed today. Right. Even the people they showed today didn't have the same mannerisms as the people in the video. That's why I shared it. I was like, okay, you know how they talk about body types, right? They just wasn't built like that. And maybe they had on extra layers of clothing or something like that, but they just, and the fact that the fourth one is missing in the hotel, but I can see him in the parking lot. But then again, I don't know where that footage came from. I just know you presented it to me. I don't know for sure that it came from that Red Roof Inn right there in Medina County. How I know that ain't Tennessee? How I know he didn't stay in Tennessee and the other three came along? I don't know. They say somebody else was in the car. I didn't see it. I just know I'm going off what you said, but you're saying some things that's not adding up. You're saying there's no need to look at anybody else in Ohio or Medina County or the surrounding county because they're from Atlanta. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like saying they don't know nobody there. They just randomly drove there and nobody believes that. There's too many other people to rob along the way. Nobody believes that. So it's like they want to close it out. So there's nothing else to do in Cleveland area. And then they did that when the Cleveland Browns were done. They've been had these guys. The last one was the 29th. You could have told us that on the 29th. You could have told us that on the 30th. And if you knew who one was, I'm assuming, I don't know how you found the first one, but you couldn't find the second one and the third one. You had pictures of all three. So did you drag it out? I don't know. Again, we're not privy to that part, right? So we just really don't know, like, how long they've been knowing who's who. And did they stagger it out? Drag it out so that the season would end because they conveniently, after Stefanski suddenly get fired, and people thought he was going to keep his job because think about what was happening. Remember, Stefanski was running around touching on Shedeur and being nice, and they had kept asking Shedeur Miles and Denzel Ward about Stefanski like they was trying to get some last minute support. So what happened? What happened? Why did you even ask any of that if he was going to already be fired? It's a lot. It's just like they want to move off of the Ohio side of the robbery. And then they want to blend it in with all the other robberies. But they can tell you, no, they didn't have nothing to do with Miles. They can tell you, no, they didn't rob Jeffrey Simmons. No, and I know they didn't rob Pat Mahomes because them people in jail. It's just weird. Just it seemed like they want to hurry up and get it over with on the Ohio side, as if these guys don't have connections in Ohio. But you can't tell me where the missing party was at the hotel because he ain't on there. He's not on there. Then people were timid and scared. Yeah, like they had never done it before. Things that make you go, right, I agree. Those seem like different people. That's what people are saying. Who paid for the gas? That's what I'm saying. If you only had room to stay at the Red Roof Inn, somebody else had to rent the car. You didn't pay for the hotel. You didn't pay for the car. You didn't pay for the hotel. You didn't pay for the gas. And maybe if we can find out where the guy that they can't find right now was, since he wasn't at the hotel, we can find out who paid for it. They're not even addressing the fact that they showed us a photo of the four of them in the parking lot somewhere. I don't know what parking lot it was, but it was supposed to be hotel footage. But then again, I don't know. It was just a parking lot. It could have been at a gas station. And then they matched it up with the pictures in the lobby at the hotel. But the one photo is missing and nobody ever asked, where's he at? Why he not at the hotel? That's what I asked. It's obvious. And when you look at the mugshot of the four of them, 3 arrested, and the other one just MIA. The same person that's MIA in the hotel is MIA in the whole investigation. And they closed the case. As if they don't know nobody in Ohio. They want to make it seem random. It's not. It's not. That's what I say. He does own some type of stuff like that. You actually right about that. They sold their stake, I think, in those truck stop, Triple J or something like that. They have natural gas wells. They might still own some of those though. I don't know if they still exist though. But yes, your facts though. You're actually right about that though. It said just now, catching up from the beginning, it said I have claimed my unclaimed funds several times. Everyone should check online to see if there are funds out there that belong to you in the state of residence. Yeah, I'm gonna check now because I never thought to check. I never thought to check. I never did. It said, whoa, Trinidad is balling. Yep. It said not only that they were armed. That's what I thought they said. It said the investigator said Shedeur inside footage is what stirred the investigation. When they aired it, other content put it on blast. Sometimes someone noticed the person first. Someone noticed the first person. Oh, okay. Maybe that's why it was good they sent it to I Smoke Hip Hop so it can get out there, because people were looking at their clothes. And did y'all hear the investigators say something about Pac-Man Jones said, these are the guys that robbed my house? Did y'all hear that in the press conference? He said, these are the guys that robbed my house. Because he said they got the same clothes on. I don't know. But that's it though. He said, these are the guys that robbed my house, and that one guy is wearing the same clothes. So I didn't know if they were saying he was serious, or, you know, sometimes people just be joking around. I don't know if he actually got robbed or not, but you know, that's what it is. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go, right here. Let's see. I think this might be one that has the second guy, because that's really the one that mattered. The police officer in the uniform was the one that showed the hotel, took questions from the other guy. Here it is right here. All right. So, and they seem like nice enough people, right? You know, but it certainly was a lot of law enforcement involved. And with the rest of these guys, we didn't even know they got robbed. So I don't know how this one got so much attention. From 8 different agencies. I don't know. They even said ATF 7. I don't even know what that is. I was like, what is that? So that's alcohol, tobacco, or firearms. So again, it's a weird situation. This one is handled differently. Let's just say it like that. This one is handled differently. All right, let's see if I can. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Did y'all notice how a lot of the interviews are low? You can't really hear. Let's see if y'all can hear this one. Hopefully y'all can hear this one. Now I'm gonna get myself out of here. Let's see.
With that, I'm going to turn over to Captain Boers. He'll give you some of the highlights here, and then Detective Reese and Sergeant Catrufo can also answer questions. Thank you.
Oh, that's somebody else. Okay, so it's cool. And the guy.
Good morning, everyone. The Medina County Sheriff's Office has concluded the investigation involving the burglary which occurred at Mr. Sanders' residence on November 16, 2025. 3 arrests have been made, including the driver of the vehicle, Jarvet Myrick, who was arrested on November 26, 2025. 2 of the suspects which committed the burglary have also been arrested. DeAndres Jackson was arrested on December 16, 2025, and Maurice Xavier Taylor was arrested on December 29, 2025. The 4th suspect who committed the burglary, Carlos DeAnthony Morris, has an active warrant for his arrest for burglary, a felony of the 2nd degree. His current whereabouts are unknown. The suspects have been confirmed to be from the Atlanta, Georgia area and utilize a rental car from Enterprise Rental to commit the crime. In this slide, you can see 3 suspects entering and exiting Mr. Sanders' residence. This footage was acquired from Mr. Sanders' security system within his home. In this 4th slide, the suspect vehicle is seen from a neighboring residence security camera, as well as an additional photograph of the suspect vehicle, which was captured by the flop camera system.
Okay, see that video right there? Now,
In
pay
the
attention.
fifth slide, the suspects.
All right, let's just talk about this. Y'all notice something missing, right? You see the picture at the top, it matches the picture at the bottom. Trevion or whatever, what's his name? Javarin or somebody like that. That's him at the top. That's him at the bottom, right? This guy, the second guy, that's him at the top. That's him at the bottom. That must be the Xavier guy. So Jervion, the Xavier guy, and then this the 18-year-old getting out the look like the back seat. Whereas you can see right here in the front, this is Drevion getting out the front seat, right? So this guy looked like he's getting out the right side, whereas they're getting out the left side, right? And this guy looked like at the end getting out the back side on the right. So, okay, the driver, the right passenger in the front, the left passenger in the back is the 18-year-old. And then I got this guy, the right passenger in the right. Where's his picture in the hotel at the bottom? Nobody asked where this dude is. They didn't know where did he even leave the state of Ohio? You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is a glaring, gaping, missing piece. And the first question you should ask is, okay, so they rolled up in the daytime. That's the first thing I noticed. So they got there in the daytime. So they might have left either overnight and drove overnight, possibly get stopped, but you actually get stopped more at night. But the kind of car they were in was unsuspecting. So everybody at the top is accounted for at the bottom, except for the dude that they can't find right now. So he was supposedly in the house, but he ain't at the hotel. These guys are in the lobby. This is the hotel down here at the bottom. Look at, they changed their clothes. They got out the car. They went in, probably showered. They changed their clothes. They probably went to go get something to eat. Where is he? And nobody asked about this. And that's crazy because he's also missing. And they don't know where he is. They said they think he in the cab. I'm like, did he leave Ohio? Because where is he? And nobody asked. And I just find that like kind of crazy. Unless y'all told me they found him somewhere. Because where the hell is he? If they don't know nobody up there because they closed the case because they think they got everybody involved, even though they got a boss, according to them. There must be nobody on the Ohio side of things. So there's no reason for us to look. But this guy is not in the hotel. We don't even know if he went back with them. Maybe that's why you can't find him. Because you looking for him where they are and maybe he ain't there. Maybe he in Ohio. Maybe he knows somebody in Ohio. And it's like that thought never came to them. And they never, and I even heard the guy say with the suit that they looked at cell phones. I heard him say something about phones. So tell me if it's weird to you that his picture is missing and didn't nobody ask about it. And he's missing now. This is why people keep saying it's not them. Because they saying it's 4 of them, but can't nobody produce this guy right here at the bottom at the hotel. I don't know where this parking lot is. I would think it's the hotel, but shit, I don't know. I know what they told me, but I don't really know. That could be Tennessee and the bottom could be Ohio. Who knows? You have to look at it like that. So I just wanted y'all to see that one part because that is the most obvious part of, wait a minute. You can't find him right now and he ain't in the photos there. And people are already saying, no, that ain't them. It does make me think the little dude in the back is the little scary one. And he is only 18. And I didn't find no prior record for him for nothing like that. I didn't find one at all, but I could be looking in the wrong place. Maybe he from Alabama or somewhere else. The only one had a high school attached to him is the dude that drove the car. And we know that that's not his car. Now, look, there's a video over here from a news station, 11 Alive, that says former NFL star helps police connect the dots to make the arrest. I wonder if they're talking about Pac-Man Jones, because Pac-Man Jones...
Imagine being able to build a map with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Tonight, 4 Metro Atlanta men are accused of driving to Ohio and burglarizing the home of Cleveland's Brown quarterback
So this is a wild twist to a heist that has garnered a lot of attention across our country. Authorities say the suspects hit Sanders' home while he was making his debut, his NFL debut in November. So these three men, all from DeKalb County, were picked up during separate traffic stops in the county between the end of November and just days before New Year's Eve.
All right. So they're saying, I don't know if I can show this. They're saying that the three of them were picked up all in DeKalb County in 3 different traffic stops. So they all got picked up in the same place. The only part that
Sanders' home, the crew drove their rental car 700 miles back to DeKalb County and carried out another burglary.
So they say they robbed somebody else when they got back. Okay, let me share this with y'all.
Player Adam.
Hold on. So they're saying that they drove back 700 miles and robbed somebody else. That's what they're saying.
This was his post. Jones posted on Instagram showing a crew breaking into a Brookhaven home.
It led me to wonder who those people were because they were wearing the same clothing during that investigation.
Listen to this.
Wonder who those people were because they were wearing the same clothing during that.
Saying they were wearing the same clothing that they had on in the video to rob Shedeur. So they drove 700 miles back to Brookhaven, which is a nice area here in Atlanta, like Bucky, and they robbed him. And he said because of the post he saw, they were wearing the exact same clothes. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna share this. I think I can share this. Hold on 1 second. This is crazy. So see how this case just keeps growing? Okay, it's already on the screen. Okay, all right, it's already on the screen. Hold on 1 second. That's crazy. Hold on, let me just make it a little bit larger, and then I can hit play. That's crazy. So let's go back a little bit.
Wonder who those people were because they were wearing the same clothing during that investigation.
Working with several agencies in DeKalb County, authorities identified the suspects: Maurice Taylor of Stone Mountain, DeAndres Jackson and Carlos Morris, both of Decatur, and Jarvette Myrick of Lithonia, who are believed to be behind other heists.
Do you believe there's any other
post? Jones posted on Instagram showing
a video saying that we're going to find you. We know who you are. I don't know if you guys had noticed, Pac-Man Jones had ended up posting a video saying that we're going to find you. We know who you are.
This was his post. Jones posted on Instagram showing a crew breaking into a Brookhaven home.
But it led me to wonder who those people were because they were wearing the same clothing during that investigation.
Working with several agencies in DeKalb County, authorities identified the suspects: Maurice Taylor of Stone Mountain, DeAndres Jackson and Carlos Morris, both of Decatur, and Jarvette Myrick of Lithonia, who are believed to be behind other heists.
Do you believe there's any other prominent burglary cases here in Ohio?
In Ohio, no.
So they think that's the only people they robbed in Ohio.
Across the country, though?
Yes, but those ones are not public knowledge at the moment.
All right, so that was Cody Alcorn reporting once again.
So he says he thinks. What y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? That's interesting. Okay, that's a new development. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about? Because I said Pac-Man said something. So Pac-Man Jones is saying, I don't know, we gonna find you. We gonna find you. He posted it, and something about when they went back to Georgia 700 miles, they robbed did they rob Pac-Man Jones? I'm confused. Did they rob Pac-Man Jones or did they rob somebody else? I don't know. And I think what the guy that was talking, he must have been the one that was robbed in Brookhaven. So basically that's just kind of weird to me. I don't. Pac-Man saw what happened to Shedeur, said, we gonna find you, we know who you are, we're gonna find you. This guy is like, wait, that's the people who robbed me. And he said, yeah, that's the same clothes they had on. So they drove all the way back and robbed this guy in Brookhaven? Or they wear the same thing when they robbed different people? So they said nobody else in Ohio. Nobody else in Ohio. And they think that they robbed other people, but they don't know. What do y'all think about that? That's important. That's huge. It said, I love me some Trinidad. Me too. It said, wonder why the case is closed. Right. That's a good question. Especially with Pac-Man, with this guy coming forward See, they closed the case, but this guy is like, wait a minute, they robbed me too. They wearing the same clothes. Is he random? Is he an athlete? Or I don't. I thought they only robbed athletes. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on here. This is the part I got to look into because this is a little different. This is different. So dude is saying they robbed him too. And Pac-Man was like, we know who you are. It said that one of the guys off screen said there was more information, but he didn't want to say on camera or on air. I don't know. You said the guy off camera. It said, is he still in Ohio? Valid point. Valid point. Now they saying those three, the three, they trying to say all four drove back 700 miles and committed another robbery. I don't know about that. They say they wearing the same clothes. Yeah, they tripping. They don't want to fully investigate this. It says something is strange with this, right? It said they know who sent them. They just can't say. I mean, if Pac-Man Jones can say confidently, we know who you are, and he posted it, and somehow this man sees it and say, wait, that's the same people that robbed me. I'm like, time out. I thought Shedeur was targeted because he was wealthy and he was in the NFL. Who was this random guy talking? See, I don't. And he's saying that Pac-Man Jones posting that helped him find the guys. And he's saying that they wore the same clothes. And they've been up and down the highway robbing people. I don't. The fact that nobody asked, what the hell is that dude right now? And why he not at the hotel? That's a problem for me. That don't bother y'all. That's crazy, bro. This is weird. Something is strange is happening. I totally agree. It said the Secret Service don't leave stuff open like that. Facts. It said, don't think the perpetrators have court-appointed lawyers. I don't think they do either. Somebody paying. It said the Shedeur Sanders have personal security. I believe so. Slick stuff and full of facts. It said, Nola, you had an intuition that particular day because you kept saying, what the hell is Kevin doing? Or who is he signaling? Or what is he doing? He wasn't focused. Hired. Go back and watch that game. Oh, okay. Hired hand. Thank you for that, Mama Tia. 7766. Yes. 47. It said all roads are leading to Haslam. It said he hired somebody to hire someone. I think so. Because think about it. Pac-Man Jones said, we know who you are. He from Georgia. So how do you know who Robert Shedeur in Ohio? Then Coach Prime they nice to him in Vegas, where Shedeur balls out and wins. Then Coach Prime comes to Cleveland and has him as nice and feeling all over him and touching him, and he instantly introduces himself to four big giants that I have never seen Coach Prime win. And when Coach Prime walked off, them dudes was walking behind him, and Coach Prime never even looked back to see if they was there because he knew they was there. And he was like, do you need anything? And he was like, no, I'm good, right? And the whole family, the wife and whoever else, hey, I'm like, that's just kind of weird because y'all abusing his son. What the hell we got going on here? And Pac-Man is like, we know who you are. And Bucky saying, y'all said, Bucky said, that they were black. I'm like, I just want to know where the dude in the fourth one at, because he ain't at the hotel and they can't nobody find him. And as far as I can read, nobody else has been breaking and entering. Matter of fact, none of them have breaking and entering charges. They just had receipt of stolen goods, like they've been buying hot stuff. That's why I don't buy hot stuff. Now, another dude says they drove all the way back from Ohio and robbed me too. Who is he? Is that real? And then the guy in the suit says, do you think they robbed anybody else in Ohio? No. So they drove all the way here just to target Shedeur for some bags. Then they went all the way back and hit up some white dude that don't play in the NFL. How did he find his house? But then all of them got arrested in DeKalb County, except for the one they can't find that wasn't at the hotel. I mean, how do we know they really robbed that dude's house? Who the hell is he? And then he says, we think they robbed some other people, but we're not looking for nobody else. I'm telling you, it's too many law enforcement involved in this situation to be that clean cut and dry that we could close the case on the day that a judge decides to continue to block $600 million for that goddamn stadium. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's that those are not the people in the video. They were younger kids. That's what I thought. That except for the one in the back, the small one. That's the only one. I just never got the impression those dudes were black the way they walk. I mean, I know people like, you can't go by that. Yeah, you can. yeah, you can. Just like when you on the phone talking, don't you know when you're talking to a black person? Okay. You know, 9 times out of 10, somebody might fool you every now and then. But even the most proper Molly voice, you can still tell. It's something about it. Just like when you look at people's names, can't you tell? And look at what they had on. I'm like, what the hell y'all got on? I'm like, that don't even, that didn't even look right. And then the fourth one is nowhere to be seen in the hotel. And we don't know what a parking lot picture from. And we don't know that dude from nobody to know if he really got robbed by them or if he just making it seem like it's not a targeted attack on Shedeur and they were paid to do it. I don't know. Pac-Man Jones said, we know who you are. I don't know if he meant it or not. He could have just been saying it. Then again, maybe they knew. They gave that clip to I Show Speed. I mean, not I Show Speed, but I hip hop. I Smoke Hip Hop. The wildfire is spreading way faster than anticipated. It said, I still say the small one is not the one in the surveillance because the one on the surveillance video was light skinned. See, that's what I thought. I thought we saw somebody's skin when they were going in one of them rooms. And I said, oh, he white. And remember, everybody thought it was the kids behind Haslam. It really fit them more than it fit the guys that they have. And number 4 is a ghost. Number 4 is the ghost. The only one that lines up with the height is the little one. And he ain't never robbed nobody because he's scary as hell. If that's him. You know what I said? The 4th one might be in the military somewhere. I'm like, because, I'm just saying, the situation is a cover-up happening here. That's what it's given. They're covering it up. They're closing out Ohio so we don't look nowhere else in Ohio. We waited until the Cleveland Browns were done with their business to put this out here. It's too neatly wrapped. It is too much law enforcement involved for some damn Louis bags and some glasses and some hats. And you drove 22 hours for 12 minutes? Who does that? And then you went home and robbed somebody else. Well, God darn. I think you be sleepy. I'm just saying. It's a lot happening here that's meant to confuse, meant to look the other way. Wait till Cleveland finishes his business. Like, it's just, I don't know. And then them 4 kids behind Haslam, I don't know. It's just that he did that before all this popped off. It's just, and Bucky wasn't there. Never forget that. I know Bucky has had to think about that. I know he like, oh, that's why y'all didn't invite me. You see what I'm saying? I know it had to go. Oh, just like when Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your pops. And we like, wait, what? And then something happened and you like, aha, this is the same thing. Oh, don't worry about coming to this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Okay. And then Shedeur get robbed. Oh, damn. Is that why you didn't want me to come? Aha moment. That's an aha moment. Just like, where the hell is the number 4, the 4th guy? The one that actually has any charge near who they said is armed and dangerous, which means he probably going to be dead when they find him. Seriously. They talking about he armed and dangerous. How they know? I ain't see them with no weapons at Shedeur house. I thought they was just boosters. I don't know, right? I thought they was just a hired ring of boosters. I ain't know they was mass criminals. Don't look, because if you don't never hear about him, you know where he at. I said the same thing. No mention of that on their social media at all. At all. It says someone told to make sure the robbery happened during the second quarter, right? Right. An hour and 20 minutes after the game. And you know what it was kind of given? It was given they left the hotel, or the place ain't that big. It's like they called somebody or they got a signal from somebody that, okay, he getting ready to play. And then when they got to the door, they called somebody, right? They called somebody. And I felt like it was okay, nobody in the house, right? You know what I'm saying? And then if it was somebody that Shedeur knew, this is a lot of law enforcement for somebody that Shedeur knew, and then they went home and robbed somebody else. It's like they want you to look in a different way other than you look. And they want you to look at Atlanta. They don't want you to look at Ohio. That's exactly what they did with the prank call. Oh, the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator's son went through his iPad, but it really was the New York Giants. It's the same thing. Look at Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. Don't look at Ohio. Don't look at Cleveland. Don't look at New York. They protecting somebody. And that's why it's so many law enforcement involved. They could have told you, yeah, we know who rented the car. They ain't tell you that. They just said, we done. Just weird. The situation getting weirder. The reporters all asked the right questions. Yeah, they did. It said they asked why the Secret Service was involved. Right. The reporter's like, well, why? Because, I mean, Jeffrey Simmons got robbed. Did the Secret Service come down? Did ATF 7, whatever the hell that is, show up? When Miles Garrett got robbed, did they all? No, this is handled so different. Just like the NFL only posted Shedeur's highlights. I was like, y'all not gonna post nobody else? It's just weird how they treating everything. The NFL act like, ooh, we love you. But then he being abused. And you don't say nothing. You don't see it, but you see his highlights, but you don't see his teammates crushing his hand, and you don't talk about that. You don't see him getting robbed. You don't want to talk about that. Something ain't right, bro. They covering for somebody. And the rest of them seem like they all came to make sure it don't come out. It said, then the YNs were hired to take the file. You know what? That's what people saying. People are really starting to believe that. The internet is going to find, wow, no. And understand this now. They say they think he in DeKalb County in Decatur, where they arrested the other 3. You don't think, you know. How can you say that? Because that's where all 3 of them were. They weren't hard to find. They weren't hard to find. They weren't hard to find. I'm just saying, this situation is getting stranger by the day. It's getting stranger by the day. You're now starting to believe that they knew who robbed Shedeur's house. If that's the case, why is the Secret Service involved? Was it the president? Because what the hell are we doing here? And then look away from Ohio. Let's say what Cleveland is done. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. It's something missing here. We still, you know, when things don't make sense, what's my motto? Just wait. When things don't make sense, wait 5 minutes. Just wait 5 minutes and something else gonna materialize. It said AB have his work cut out. Do the right thing. Acknowledge Shedeur, trade Dillon, buy Watson, and build around 12. I think they're gonna trade Shedeur. It said the team was jealous as hell. Was jealous as well as coaches. He had just went to the hood to help the less fortunate the week before with blessing a single mother with a car. Just pure hate. Somebody on the team knows something. Right. I totally agree. And they took his bags because that's what he comes to the practice facility with. These really nice bags. Yeah. It's somebody in the Browns organization. Just like we can check off the box that they were hired. It's somebody in the Browns organization. Now, is it a teammate or is it an executive? The reason I go back to an executive is because it's only so many people knew, 1, where Shedeur lived, and 2, where Bucky would be. And that was of great importance to people watching the video. We know who Bucky is. No need to focus on him. No need to keep stopping the video and going back in. Who is that? That's what this was. Identifying the people around Shedeur so you can know who to look out for. Now, you would think a teammate wouldn't need to tell somebody that unless they was watching the video on the phone together on FaceTime. Hey, partner, see that dude right there? No, I don't even think that was the case. I hate to tell y'all, but when you look at Bucky wasn't there, it kind of points to people. Who the hell knew he wasn't going to be there? And that's who it was. Not everybody knew that. Think about it. They chose not to invite him when he pops surprisingly into a game. Play a game he supposedly didn't know he was going to play. But Coach Prime said he knew, so I don't know. And Bucky not there. They don't invite him to that one, and that's when this happens. It's an inside job. And it ain't just the teammate. A teammate might have helped. Maybe they were the ones to go over to the house to take the photo to send back. That's possible. I don't doubt that. Somebody did get some charges dropped. I'm just saying. It did happen like that. And then for Quishan to go visit Shedeur, I just wonder why. Just the way he said it. It said those are not the same guys. Everybody's saying it. Evil begins evil. They were too comfortable. Yep. It said, think about it, chat. If the league knew everything about a potential draft pick, they noticed too. I have pointed out that so many times. That's exactly what I was saying when I talked about Kyron Lacey. In this situation, having a lot of similarities. They knew things about Kyron Lacey. That's how they knew when they said the Green Charger exactly who it was. And they knew early on that he was innocent, and they let it ride. And it benefited the NFL. And when you look at what happened to Isaiah Bond and what happened to Quishan Junkins and what happened to Shedeur, and they all ended up in Cleveland, you kind of have to wonder if he would have been devalued too, and if that's why they let it ride. And I'm going to tell you, if that shit ever come out, that they knew and said let it ride because we could use that, it's going to blow wide open because that kid is deceased. And look at how they doing Shedeur. They showed you what they was capable of in the draft with Shedeur, with that call, and how they lied on the Falcons. And I think that's why people keep saying, these not them people. This don't make no sense. And now they got somebody else saying, yeah, they rode all the way back 700 miles and then came and robbed me too. Well, why couldn't they rob you tomorrow? Why it had to be the same night? Because the clothes have to be the same. So they robbed you and wore the same clothes back 700 miles. They ain't changed or nothing. I don't know. And I still don't know when number 4 at. Did he ever make it back to Atlanta? There's no pictures of him. And they don't know where he is. And he was the one that was the closest to those types of activities. And he served 12 years. To this day, people are still saying they don't see the concussion. Right. That was a straight up lie. That was a lie. And you know why they told that lie? Because they didn't want to give Shedeur the satisfaction to believe he was playing because he's obligated to play. You only get to play when Dylan hurt. That's what they were doing. Manufacturing injuries. Notice Shedeur only played in the preseason game because supposedly Dylan and everybody else was injured. When in fact, he was owed the opportunity to play, and they didn't even want to acknowledge that he had to play. They wanted to play mind games with him like you can only play when Dylan is hurt. That's crazy because Shedeur knows how the NFL works. Even the media was like, well, no, they have to let him play. They have to let him show what he could do or it's malpractice. But they wanted it to be an emergency situation, as if to hell with what he is supposed to get. We will give him what we want him to have. That's what it was. So they manufactured injuries instead of just giving Shedeur what he's supposed to have. And you don't think these people can manufacture a robbery? Hell, yes, they can. In fact, I think the fact that they have manufactured injuries, that they have set Shedeur up to be hurt, that they have abused him, that they have shown him, we don't want you, we don't value you, that it's obvious, whether people know it or not, that Andrew Berry used his connections in Philly and in Baltimore to send Shedeur over there rather than come to Cleveland. It explains why they was working so hard to get rid of him. And that's what the robbery was supposed to do. That's what the abuse was supposed to do. I quit because that's what happened to Jonathan Martin at the hands of Richie Incognito. He quit. He couldn't take it. And something happened on that last game when he was happy and won. They got pissed off again, and he came to the podium shook. Something happened. And Jerry Judy is like, ha ha, if y'all only knew, it's funny. People wasn't having it, but you saw 1 million people watch that. They're like, what the hell is he talking about? That was immediately after the game at 4:46. He probably was still in the damn stadium. They want him to go away. But I see the pressure building for them to trade him rather than him quit. It says Shedeur keeps making references to him being robbed in press conferences as if he's trying to keep focus on the robbery. We know the media has been silent about it and don't bring it up. Right, because he knows it's in-house. Just like after the Ravens-Steelers game, there's a clip that Lamar Jackson walking this way, Harbaugh walking this way. They were supposed to meet and hug. You know what Lamar Jackson did with this being Harbaugh? Walked right past him. Harbaugh stopped and was like, what? Like, oh shit. Because Lamar knew. Did anybody remember Lamar's press conference talking about being too legendary or being legendary? I think he said being legendary. Somebody said, was that a nod to Shedeur? I think it was. I ain't never heard him talk like that before. That's exactly what he said. I was like, what? I think I have the video. I sound to get out of here, but this is important. Is this Lamar? I think I still have the video if this is Lamar. Listen to what he's saying. I think it's on here.
You know what's the emotion, Jameson? Like we did all that, man, to come up short, bro, you know? Devastating, furious, all type of, I don't know. I'm everywhere with it right now.
Lamar, when you take the field for that final drive, I mean, how confident were you at that point that you were going to get in leading position in field goal range?
Extremely confident. You know, I told my guys, let's be legendary. You know, let's put the drive together, 55 seconds. We practiced this, 55 seconds. 3 times out. I believe we had 3 times out.
Let's be legendary. I mean, this ain't my fight, so I ain't got time to dissect if it is really tied back to Shedeur. But when I heard it, it sent chills through me because Shedeur. And then Lamar is being set up. Shedeur is being set up. And then we're seeing what Haslam is capable of with this $600 million and stealing from people because that's theft. And then we're seeing how he allowed Stefanski to abuse Shedeur. And then we see how he act different after the robbery. And Coach Prime rolled through with these big 4 giants and he want to introduce himself to them. Like, why? Like that was just the craziest thing because you're a billionaire. Why'd you get that? You're not new to security. In fact, you got your own standing right across the way with a little beanie cap because I saw him. Coach Prime wasn't worried about his security. Why are you worried about why Coach Prime got security? Why are you worried about them 4 dudes? And you should have saw the look on his face. And then look how he acted as if everything was normal. And then they went right back to abusing Shedeur after that. And it's always that touchy-feely shit. Harbaugh does it. Haslam does it. Stefanski do it. That's what you need to look out for when they want to touch on you. I don't care. Jerry Judy went right next underneath him. That's intimidation, bro. And that was the last game. And then he want to post something about if y'all only knew it's funny, ha. Don't nobody know what he talking about. And he know we know. But I know Shedeur was shook after that. And he got himself together in the press conference. And at the end, he was like, go and visit my brother Shiloh. But you could see he was putting on. Just trying to steal his joy because he won the last game and ended the season on a high note. So he's not supposed to enjoy it. You have to know somebody over there did that. Trying to steal his joy. He got a nice house. Rob his house. You stealing his joy at work. You taking away the impact from the Wildcats. You taking his bag, things that he's like. You're trying to disrupt him as a human. That's coming from the Browns. And I don't necessarily think it was the player solo, a player. I think it could have been. You know, it would be kind of good to find somebody to take him off his pedestal. Oh, I think I got somebody like that. Like that. It's definitely an inside job in the Browns organization. Now, make no mistake about that. The coincidence is not a coincidence that they closed that case and told us about it after the Browns wrapped up their season, when they've been arresting these dudes for weeks. Just like Kyron Lacey, they let it drag out. They let it drag out to benefit them. That's how I know who did that. If that shit ever come out, whew. So 12 isn't, I say he's not. I say it's time to move on. Cover up. That's what it's given. That's what it's given. That's what it's given. Too much technology for the slick stuff. Absolutely. That absolutely is hurtful for a 23-year-old chasing his dream. Had to deal with so much hate in 2025. The fourth guy walk up while the other three were in there. It said hired inside job. They were too comfortable. Yep. And think about it. If somebody in the house told them what to do, they would have knew the layout of the place, because somebody would say, walk up the stairs, look to the left, look to the right. Think about it. They looked in a room. They didn't even go in there and take nothing. That's how you know it wasn't random. They were looking for something specific. They were looking for something specific. And they took his stuff and threw it on the floor. Again, disrupting him. You're nothing. That's all that is. That's the message. Is Shedeur trying to expose the media and others by him keep referencing the fact that his house was robbed? I never heard him say that. Where did you see that, Donald? He keeps bringing it up in subtle ways. I haven't heard him say it. Suppose they run their mouths to a jailhouse snitch. It happens. It happens. It happens. Is he using media to keep the story news? I haven't heard it. I think Miami got this one. Yeah, I haven't heard it, guys. I haven't heard it. What are you doing in the dark will come out in the light. That's facts. Somebody, I can't stand Ole Miss, but I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them because of people leaving. I just hope they let Trinidad stay in school. Right. That's my wish. That's my wish. Deshaun Watson is from Gainesville, Georgia. Don't think it ain't Deshaun. Deshaun feels like he's grateful to Coach Prime because somehow Coach Prime was there for him. Some situation, I don't know. Now, you know, Coach Prime was in the league, so he has seen things happen to people in his own era. So he probably was compassionate with Deshaun because he probably knew what happened, because he knew them guys be doing the massages. That ain't new. And he know that they scapegoated him. He know that. And then he got scapegoated. So he knows. See, they used to doing that kind of stuff. It say Chad think Trinidad got his request for another year. I don't know. Did he get it? Did he say? Deshaun don't have nothing to do with this. It said respect. I knew you were a badass. Respectfully. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. On that note, I'm gonna get out of here. I think he got another year, but they want him to stay at Ole Miss. I think he wants to land at LSU. So did he get it? Those guys were hired to commit that robbery. It said true robbers would have taken jewelry that was probably valued. Yeah, Shedeur got a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff. I totally agree. Hopefully Oregon wins tomorrow. I'm rooting for Oregon tomorrow too, y'all. All right, y'all. I'm going to let my voice rest because I've been talking too long. But this was good. This was important. We needed to get this out because now we saw the last clip that enters the chat about Pac-Man Jones saying, we know who you are, and some random dude saying that they robbed him 700 miles on the way back. I need some evidence of that. I'm going to need to see some camera footage or something. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. So it makes you think they just up and down the highway robbing people and it's random. Like Shedeur wasn't targeted. That's what they're trying to put out. Pac-Man is like, we know who you are. The police is like, no, it's just a celebrity. It's not targeted. I think he was targeted. And I think they know he was targeted. And they want you to think it's random. So we gonna close the case in Ohio because they didn't rob nobody else here. And it's just, they robbed other celebrities too. And they went back to Atlanta and they robbed somebody else. So this wasn't specific to Shedeur. That's bullshit. If it wasn't specific to Shedeur, they would have pulled that car right up on the goddamn driveway and loaded the hell up. You don't drive 22 hours for 12 minutes for random shit and don't get nothing. Shedeur has millions of dollars worth of stuff, not just 200,000. All right, we out of here. We'll be back. Any breaking news, I'll come back and tell you. But yeah, it's crazy out here. It's getting weird. It just like with the prank call, everybody's adding on to it, right? The prank was like, oh no, so-and-so got pranked. What is it? The one that went to New York that got drafted, number 3, he got pranked. They said Mason Graham got pranked. I'm like, not by these people right here. And that's what I mean about this case. I don't care. This one got robbed. That one got robbed. You already pointed out they didn't have nothing to do with it. But they trying to make it seem like Shedeur wasn't targeted, but you can't justify driving 22 hours for 12 minutes in some bags and coming back and hitting up a random white dude. You can't justify that. I could have hit him up and went back home and went to bed. Or I could have went to Tennessee and hit up Jeffrey Simmons. And then I could have went to Kansas City and hit up somebody that played for them. It's 3 NFL teams before you get to Ohio. And then I could have went to Chicago while I was out there. I wouldn't have went back and hit up some random no-name dude. Not when I know they got Louis bags at NFL players' houses. See, that's what I'm saying. That's it right there. This was targeted, and they don't want you to think it was. All right, so I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Over 300 people. Hit the like button and subscribe. Have a good night. And if you have any questions, just ask them in the chat, and I'll be running around answering questions on all platforms and in my email. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.